Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to some of y'all, and peace out to the rest of you again. Hit the share button because the message is more important than the messenger. I want to thank those of you who have asked Allah for healing for me. My boss has been understanding, especially he volunteered actually and arranged a replacement for me for the first day of the next work week, which is good because previously when other teachers would just at the last minute flake out on their classes, the previous bosses would come to me, Professor Black, we need you to take this class during your break today. And I'm like, so what about my break? We'll make it up to you. And they wouldn't. I asked him if I could have classrooms on the ground floor, and he said, you can. And then he got back to me after I uploaded the last recording, and he said, look, Professor Black, let's arrange a substitution for Sunday. You need another day to recover. And then you go to the ground floor classroom for the rest of the week. So I took him up on that. That was quite nice of him. I'm recording this one to tell you that, and this is not the pain talking. It's not hunger either. But I'm recording this to tell you guys that, frankly, gentlemen, I am glad to see a lot of these ladies learn a lesson. I'm not glad for my own reasons. It's too late for me to benefit from a bunch of ladies in the West learning lessons. I can't go back to live, I mean. I'm happily married here where I am. And I'm safe here. As a matter of fact, I told y'all what my boss did. I wouldn't get this sort of consideration stateside. You all know how the bosses are and how the bosses have to be because your bosses have bosses. And that bottom line is not just the ability to earn for the company, but it's earning for the company right now. No delayed gratification. That's for you. It's not for your bosses. It's the same thing as it was when I left, except maybe it's worse. And that's what you're dealing with. As for me, I'm in a better position. And so I can't really gloat and say, yeah, that's right. You ladies gonna learn today. And then I'm going to be able to swoop in and benefit from better options available. No. It's because I want to see this be an option for you gentlemen. But by the same token, I also understand that it's not quite enough yet. That lady in Los Angeles, that really nice looking 30-something-year-old talking about her friends settling and she's not, recorded a follow-up video. And in the follow-up video, she said, but you all have said that I should consider other places. Look, my job is here in Los Angeles and I can't leave. And I say to her, well, then there you go. Stay by yourself. See, what the ladies will say is, what if I did make these sacrifices for a man and he's not worth it? So what? Men make sacrifices for women and the women turn out to not be worth it. One of my Muslim brothers called me up, told me, and no, I'm not going to say his name, but he knows who he is. He called me up and he let me know. Actually, he told me beforehand that less than 5 months, actually about 3 months after the birth of his son, if not less than that, his wife said, I think we should take a break. brand new baby. And his wife came to him and said that they should take a break because he works too much. See, he's working 2 jobs, but he's working from home. And he's still there for them. And she talks about feeling lonely. I know that when my daughter was born, I had the worst of the single life and the worst of married life all rolled into one. I had the best of neither. Whatever's good about being married wasn't there. Whatever's good about being single wasn't there. No peace of mind, no quiet, no rest, no recreation. None of that. Just the downsides to both. You know, the solitude of the single life, that was there. When you don't want it. But then when you need the peace and quiet so you can think, oh, it's not there. Imagine having your name called only for tasks, chores, or to be fussed at, and nothing else. But my man's, he made sacrifices. He sold the house where he lived and stayed with the family because she wanted the family support when the baby was born. And that's normal. So he had to learn a tough lesson and didn't even do anything wrong. He had to learn a tough lesson for being a responsible provider. I'm glad he didn't marry in front of the courts, though. Another Muslim brother from my home region, although we met in Atlanta, he and I are actually from not too far apart from each other along Interstate 10. Was going through a divorce. When he first married her, he had to tell her to not say sorry for things she didn't control. Now she's showing every side of narcissism he looked up. And he said he's beginning to see it in the daughter. He's moved back to our home region, to his hometown. Down the highway from my hometown. He's got to pick up the pieces again. Not only that, he had to take a teaching job in a public school, and there's no nice way for me to say it, with niggas. Regardless of race. Black niggas, white niggas, doesn't matter. Any other combination in between. Doesn't matter. Just the worst that society's got to offer. Kids are up here making threats against him because they don't know that he's a veteran and that he's trained in hand-to-hand combat. They would die messing with him. They just don't know this. So when I see these ladies learn these tough lessons and they're crying on camera, I'm glad about it to a certain extent. Not because it's the lady's fault that these bad little kids are fussing at my friend at his job. But actually, to a certain extent, it is. Because these kids aren't raised by dads. And you see, when it comes time for it, a lot of times these ladies have been told, why don't you go ahead and give up the baby? Let dad keep cussing him. And they're like, no, not doing that. And the courts don't force them. So these ladies are coming with all kinds of attitude. They're not going to cooperate. They're not going to do anything. Even when they're Muslim and the rights revert to the father at age 7 of the child, they still don't want to. So what's going on is that a lot of these ladies have done two things. Some of them have done both of these things. They simply run men off until they don't have any more options in men. Or they do get with someone and then run off that husband or that almost husband. And they make the mistake of doing these things at times in their lives when they've lost options and don't know it. The thing is that they never seem to know that that wall is coming until that wall is there and they've struck it. And the options are going down and they're dwindling. More importantly, I'm glad to see them learn these tough lessons, because what it means is that you men are not going for the same okie doke for which you used to go previously. But a lot of the women don't understand this. See, the women talk in these hair salons. They trade notes. And you gentlemen are finally doing what you're supposed to do in mass. And you are making the information they pass to each other in hair salons and in women's only spaces incorrect and no longer applicable. Good job, gentlemen. You're no longer willing to be childless and unselectedly childless, only to settle for a woman with some other man's kids for you to raise. You're no longer willing to do that. You're no longer willing to be in shape and financially viable so that you can settle for someone that's out of shape and in debt. You're not doing that anymore. You're now sitting up and saying, for all the standards that we have to meet, we got standards for her to meet as well. They may not be identical, but they're comparable. In other words, they're one for one. I got to be in shape. She got to be in shape. I got to be a type. She got to be my type. I got to be financially viable. She does too. At least not bringing a bunch of debt to me. Got to be childless. She got to be childless too. I didn't go through a bad girl phase, a male hoe phase. She better not have gone through a same thing as a lady. I'm trying not to trigger the censors on YouTube. You're finally saying to these ladies, I didn't get what I wanted. You don't come to me after you've gotten everything you wanted from someone else to try to get the last thing that you want from me. Absolutely not. If I had to exercise self-discipline when I was younger, fine. You will have exercised self-discipline even if you didn't have to when you were younger, or nothing at all between us. And no, I won't hook you up with my friends either. And yes, I'll leave him if they make your butt happy. I'll cut him off if he starts messing with you. That's how I see it. You gentlemen, every time one of them looks into a camera and cries about the options that they don't have, and about why they don't have these options anymore and what men are telling them, that means that some of you, especially when they can't find a commitment, that means that some of you more responsible and moral men have wised up. And every time these younger women start recording this sort of thing, and they say, and here I am, I'm young, and even young guys won't say anything to me. That means that you gentlemen have shared this information with some younger men, and you younger men have applied it and put them out in the cold until they act their age. Now, I'm still waiting for one other thing. I'm still waiting, actually, for two things. I'm waiting for men to start saying, you talk like an airhead. You sound ditzy when you speak. Every sentence sounds like a question at the end. You know, when women talk like that, I'm waiting on you guys to start curbing women just for sounding like that. And what, she don't know what she's trying to say? Because see, that she sounds like she's unsure of herself when she talks like that. Every single sentence sounds like a question at the end. Sounding like a valley girl or a ditzy airhead. No, don't even go out with the ones that sound like that, and don't pump and dump them or smash and dash or let alone conceive and leave. Don't even do that. They're not going to let you dash. They're not going to let you leave. They're not going to let you dump. Those are the ones that are going to start all of a sudden using their mind to do whatever they can to make it as difficult for you as possible. They'll be some of the worst ones. Stupid as a box of rocks when you're with them. Then you leave and they start thinking and conniving and everything else and planning. That's what they do. They'll sit up and call you over. Hey, why don't you come on over? I need some. You show up and then they call the cops on you later on. He held me down. But I'm waiting on you guys to start using even the ditzy way that a lot of them sound against them and curbing them for that. And the second thing for which I'm waiting is for you to demand that they walk up and make some approaches. Take some risk. See what it's like on the other side of the fence. Demand this. As unrealistic as we've been told that it is, a lot of you younger guys are actually getting the hint. You're not going to start any conversations with the women, and rightfully so. So you were sort of de facto demanding that they start conversations with you. But what I'm waiting to see is men consciously, not just by default of being left to that being the only option, but men consciously saying, no. We don't make approaches anymore. We've been told not to. But no, now you make approaches, and we're going to judge these approaches and critique them because that's what you wanted. I'm waiting on these two things, but I must say that so far, I'm actually somewhat proud to see. If MTR can come up with 17 minutes of ladies hitting the wall, that's great. And realizing that they've hit it. That's great, because that means that you men are now, you're no longer exempting them from the wall. You're no longer coming along and saving them from the consequences of bad decisions. And the bad decision can be more than just choosing the wrong one, but not choosing the right one is also a bad decision. Though they don't have to choose anyone, not choosing the right one for a dumb reason is a bad decision if they're going to want someone later, and inevitably that's what they're showing. Anyway, with that being said, thank you for listening again. Black heart, black mind, black out, assalamu alaikum, and black heterosexual, non-select male power, just because they don't like it, and black patriarchy until extinction or judgment day.